In a time and place when you can work from anywhere.
Two ladies in their mid to late 27s have decided to.
And they're calling it workcationing.
You know, it's hard to call anything when your Skype won't work.
This time, we're talking about technical difficulties.
And the travel hacks we had to come up with on the fly to make things work.
We solve problems so you don't have to.
This is the Workcationing Podcast.
You ready? One more sip? You look very lovely in your dress, by the way. I appreciate you dressing up for me.
You know, I like the vibrant pink that you're wearing.
Thank you. I was feeling this color today.
I'm feeling it on you.
I can't imagine a hotter pink, actually. Like, this is the most pink.
Just electric.
Yes, I'm feeling electric.
I'm wearing a nice, what would you call this?
It's just sundress. A sundress.
It's a strapless number and a nice shade of, is this cerulean?
Cerulean, or maybe, I was going to say azul, but that's just blue.
Spanish blue.
Listen, I'm really working on my Spanish.
It's just fine Spanish blue that I'm wearing today. And what we're here to talk about is not our outfits. We're here to talk about the opposite of outfits.
Yes.
Technical stuff.
Yes.
I'm not a very techie person.
No, and I'm not either.
I know a lot about SEO, but when it comes to the nuts and bolts of actual hardware, I prefer to really outsource as much of that as I possibly can.
No, I think when it actually comes to people realizing how much I actually know about an actual computer, they're always shocked. Because I know nothing. Like, my entire existence is online, but I know nothing about a computer.
My last boyfriend had a PhD in computery shit. And
it's a very advanced degree.
It's a very advanced degree and very, very technical things that involved a lot of like cords plugging into things and making sure that my computer. Did you try restarting it? That's always the first place to start, right?
Listen,
restart?
If I can't pull something out, blow into it, and put it back in,
Nintendo style,
or restart it, I'm literally out of ideas.
Okay, so what we're getting at is that we have run into some technical difficulties,
as you do,
out here on these streets, these digital nomad streets. And actually, people are always asking me, how do you really make it work? How's the Wi-Fi? How's
spotty? Thanks for asking.
How's the sound quality on your conference calls?
There's a really alarming amount of street festivals here, it turns out.
We're laughing because we've
kind of been through it. We're like, we will just take this on the road and it will be fine.
No,
well, you really haven't lived till you're taking a conference call from a shower because there's a party raging outside your apartment at 8:30 in the morning.
Just street festival blaring on blast. DJ, you must, listeners, if you haven't checked out our local flavor podcast episode of Puerto Rico, you will understand the difficulties that we experience with these cars with the very loud speaker systems on the roofs.
Yes.
You
might hear one today. It could just slide on by.
You need to know. Okay. So people are always asking about how difficult it is to work on the road. And I thought that it was going to be no more challenging than working from the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire. Because if you can work from the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire, I feel like you can really work from anywhere.
False.
Turns out, not the case. So necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention. And we have had to come up with some travel hacks to maneuver around the technical difficulties that we have experienced here in Aguada, Puerto Rico.
That just sounds so orderly and not at all the way these things actually go down, is that we realize we have a problem and then we kind of...
No, you've got a fire burning in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
How quickly can you ninja together a fire extinguisher?
Yeah, there's a lot of squawking.
Hey, look over here. Do you see this is on fire? Ah! What are we going to do about it?
Listen, we're doing all right, though. We're doing fine.
It's really loud outside here.
Yes, they stay partying in those streets. They really do. I know it sounds crazy, but literally at 8:30 in the morning, there was a street festival raging, and it was, a Wednesday?
Yeah, listen, we are staying in a town of 42,000 people, which is a lot like small town America, except for I mean, technically it's America, but it's Puerto Rico, and they just seem to have their own rules here about what's acceptable in terms of noise.
Yes. And they also have just a lot more holidays than we have. I feel like after Christmas and then New Year's, everybody's ready to tap out for a while, but not here
the party's
in Puerto Rico.
Just beginning.
Mm-hmm. They're not going down without a fight.
When we got here, it was the Epiphany. I didn't know that, but apparently the rest of the island did, and it was very difficult to get a rental car.
Mm-hmm. They were turning up on the Epiphany.
Across the board.
It's on my new mixtape. It's fire.
DJ Kelly's got a new hit single. It's called Turning Up on the Epiphany.
Yeah.
So when it was too loud outside, we, in most cases, just went for the standard headset microphone rig.
Right.
Where people can't really hear you. Your sound is very isolated. But Kelly and I have had to take a few calls on the same conference call together. And in that kind of situation, it's really echoey.
Yeah, it can cause issues when you're too much in the same space. And the floors here are all tile. And so it's kind of, just the whole apartment's echoey.
There's nothing to absorb any kind of sound. And sound is coming in through the windows, doors, just every orifice of this house is being penetrated by sound.
Yes. And so it ended up being that our only recourse to get away from this street festival was to literally take the call from the shower.
We took a call from a shower. We sat in the shower. Fortunately, the shower is very large.
Yeah.
The bathroom, it was a nice sized bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to make things work. But that was kind of annoying. That in and of itself was echoey, taking a call from a bathroom. Moving forward, I think that we've learned that we don't want to be on the first floor of anything or the second floor of anything. We'd like to be a little higher,
a little further
possible.
removed. Yeah.
Another problem we keep running into is that there's a lack of ice.
There is a real lack of ice, which is a problem because I feel like I stay sweating here.
It's and also we went to the grocery store where we would go. We've tried the grocery store. We have tried La Farmacias.
Mm-hmm.
Donde está ice cube trays? I don't know.
No one knows.
We still don't know.
Still don't know.
But you know what we did? Kelly and I, week 1 on this adventure, figured out, I think we were 3 days in when we figured this out. We did not have ice cube trays, but we did have were some Ziploc baggies. And we filled them with ice. Now, here's the trick.
Here, let's be real, though. Carrie's being generous. I had nothing to do with this. I look over at the freezer, and Carrie is, hanging bags, Ziploc bags full of water in there. And I was like, Mamacita. What are you doing? But it turns out she was solving all of our ice problems.
Hielo. Still working on that one.
Working on it.
Working on it. Okay, so I would like to dive in just a little bit into the Ziploc baggie ice cube tray because I have done some A/B testing on this.
You sure have.
And so my first go-to was, all right, what I'm going to create is an ice rod. And so to create this ice rod, I need to put, an inch into the Ziploc baggie and then dangle it from a tray so that it creates this nice ice cube rod that you can then dunk into your drink. I don't think that that's the most effective way to go about the Ziploc baggie ice creation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead, the best solution is to not fill it up, but what you want is about a solid 1/2 inch of water. And the Ziploc baggie is you lay it flat.
Yes.
Pancake style. You want it to pancake out so that when it's finished icing over, you just drop that on the tile floor, cracks into just the most wonderful crushed ice we've been having with our Sea Light.
So lovely. The water in Puerto Rico is not our absolute favorite.
No, but it's drinkable.
It is drinkable, which is good.
And we're saving so much money by not getting bottled water.
Yeah, but sprucing it up with some crushed ice and maybe a lime wedge. Little Sea Light.
Yeah, so Crystal Light is what you might know Sea Light as. But out here in Puerto Rico, it's Sea Light. We've been drinking some of that. The best thing that we have done is find a fixer.
Yes, it really is.
If you can find a fixer, and ideally you want multiple fixers.
Well, let's first clarify what a fixer would do for you on the road.
Oh, okay, so a fixer might translate for me with some locals.
Right.
A fixer might tell me when I'm being scammed or when I'm about to be scammed.
Right.
A fixer might negotiate lower prices on my behalf.
Uh-huh.
A fixer might get me iguana meat.
Yes, he might. He just might.
He just might. And in this case, he did, right? We got a line on iguana meat. Like, all of these things happen through fixers.
Right. Okay, so I think there's definitely some, to help the people, the qualities you should look for in a fixer. I feel like, so what we're kind of coming to is we want this to be a person who ideally speaks the language of wherever you are.
Yes.
At least a little.
If he can come across as a local, that's A+.
A+. If he is a local, that's A+.
Right.
Well, maybe 2+ is 1A.
Yes. Just exceptional. Those
Leave that to
local
the Suits and
fixers.
Washingtons. I don't know.
You want him to be a little grifty.
A little grifty. I feel like they need to spend some time on the road.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe vagabonding.
Maybe a little bit of that. Yeah. Like somebody who like knows how to solve problems. Somebody who's really gotten into some really precarious situations.
And is a creative problem solver as a result.
Yes. However, because they need to be a little bit grifty, they also need to be someone that for some reason, whether it's because they're your friend or there's some way that you feel as though this person is probably not going to be grifting you, or is at least not going to be grifting you for more than the overall value that they provide.
Right. So what you don't want is a grifter who's going to grift you.
Right, or just to grift you in a certain way, or to a certain amount. You need to
listen. Be wary of your fixers.
Mm-hmm.
Is what we're saying.
They might fix you.
You don't want that.
You don't want that.
Okay.
We weren't worried about that with this fixer.
No, but having somebody to help in real time when we're really busy, we're putting in at least 50-hour weeks.
Yes.
Out here, and so that doesn't leave a lot of room for fetching things or.
Yeah. So should we talk about our fixer?
I think we saved that for the iguana episode. We had the best.
You'll get to meet
fixer
him in that episode.
So looking forward to that. Okay, so our fixer is just. I look forward to finding more fixers. I think that solves so many problems when you find people who locally want to help you.
Right.
Okay, so the third technical difficulty / travel hack that we had to create was we needed to live tweet a show. Well, Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly needed to live tweet a show.
Yes, for a client. I have to do it once a week, and it's really crucial that it be done, and it's really crucial that I be the one to do it. However, this particular show is not, I couldn't get it there. We didn't have cable. We had a smart TV, and we had Netflix, but to watch it, the critical component of the live tweeting is the live part.
Right, and we had a VPN, which
Right.
made it look like our computers were in the U.S., because that's the first go-to, right? But not all shows are live on the internet. Yeah.
In fact, most of them aren't. Like, you might get sporting events and that kind of stuff, but like a show that's on television, you usually don't get it live.
So Kelly needed to watch this TV show live so she could live tweet it for the client. And
so we had this brilliant idea, which is that we got our Girl Friday from TCF. That's a real position we have there. I was once Girl Friday.
It's Gal Friday.
Gal Friday, sorry.
Gal Friday, not girl.
Like, how dare I? But yeah, Gal Friday at TCF, who she basically Skyped me into her house, and she puts it on, and she puts it on with closed captioning. And
so she put the TV on with closed captioning, and
Yeah.
she called in video through Skype.
Yeah.
So she just turned her little Skype camera on her laptop at her TV, which had the closed captioning on, and Kelly got to watch.
Yeah. It worked just fine. It was perfect.
And you could hear everything? Could you hear it and read it on the screen?
Uh-huh. Yeah. What's actually helpful about the closed captioning is there's usually a little bit of a delay there. So she turned it way up so I could hear it really well. But even then, like, there's a little bit of glitchiness, and sometimes you don't always catch it. But then the closed captioning comes up like a second later, and you're like, what was that? You're like, oh, got it.
Oh, that's great for pulling quotes, too. 'Cause
Uh-huh.
I love watching closed captioning when you're live tweeting.
It's helpful.
Kelly ran into the final technical difficulty on this trip. So we've had 5. It was too loud outside. We had no ice cube trays. We needed to find a fixer. Cannot, again, recommend finding a fixer highly enough. We ran into the watching TV while out of the country. Live TV in particular can be an issue. You solve that with Skype. And the final one was really the most challenging one for us.
Yes.
And by us, I mean Kelly.
Yeah. I mean, you were challenged emotionally as well. And we were both very stressed out by this. So I am mostly in charge of editing the podcast. So all of just the gripes that you have with our audio quality, you can send to Kelly at workationing.com.
Please leave me out of that loop.
I will go ahead and tell you to fuck off. No. So I'm trying here, okay? So I'm mostly in charge of all the audio aspects of this, which is cute because I do not know what I'm doing on any level. I actually had a podcast before back home with my best friend, and I had a boyfriend at the time who was really good at this shit. So basically he would handle it for us, right? And now we're doing this podcast. I was like, oh, that looks easy. He seemed to just handle it. No, there's so much to learn, and there's this huge learning curve. And then I finally got everything working and figured out how to do all this shit and edit the podcast on my own. And then one day, the whole thing just stopped working. Like, we just couldn't record anymore. And I couldn't figure out why.
No bueno.
Could not figure out why. We found a workaround. We basically, honestly, I still don't know what the fuck's wrong with my computer, but we just had the genius idea. We realized it was my computer that was the issue. And we ended up using Kari's instead and hooking up through that.
So I got to download some new software.
Yeah.
Got to see what that's like.
Yeah, and it's a little bit annoying because you have to record on this computer and then we upload it to Drive and then send it over to my computer. We really need somebody to white knight us a solution to this. So hopefully we're going to meet some podcasting bros out here on the streets.
You swipe right long enough on Tinder and I guarantee you we can find some sort of podcast guru who just wants nothing more than to demonstrate his expertise.
I'm just going to put that on my Tinder profile. Come fix my computer, and then just like 5 money symbols.
We'll take him out to dinner,
yeah,
and just give him the best company in exchange. Sex is off the table for any kind of computer.
Yeah, no, I'll just buy a new computer, really.
I'm cool with it.
A new computer's cheaper than I am.
But if you just want to text me a quick solution to this problem, that would be great. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Hook a gringa up.
Okay, so I think that wraps this edition of technical difficulties and travel hacks. We had 5 problems, and we found 5 solutions.
We did, and good ones.
Well, and the fixer found most of them, I'm not going to lie.
That's fine, though, but finding the fixer is, listen, we're doing great.
I feel pretty good about it.
We're doing so good.
So we're good?
Yeah, we did it.
High five.
High five. All right, well, until next time, friends.
Bye.
Bye. This has been another episode of the Workationing Podcast. If you like what you heard here, make sure to like, rate, subscribe, and leave us a review on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, or wherever else on the internet you're hearing this.
You can also go to workationing.com. That's workationing.com.